Alright, so I was going to pick up from where we left off. So just a quick look at what we had before, so I'm just going to illuminate. So you got something that looks like this right now. So we're starting to just kind of create the general layout for the wall. So I'll go forwards. If you remember from last time, there's just an opening, so I just want to clean this up. So I'll go right click, edge. Hopefully we can do a fill hole. So I select one of the edges on the outside. Go to mesh, and there's the fill hole tool. I don't bring this up to my shelf normally because it's just I don't use it often, and it's done. The UVs could be different on this section, so just keep that in mind. Let's go forward. So I'll do just a cube. So I'll go create polygon primitives cube. Back up just a little bit. RUW, is it still interactive? No. So I'm gonna go Control Z. W. There's the cube. So get the cube. I'm gonna move it over here. If we want to keep everything just sort of uniform, what I can do is get in here. I'm gonna go right click face. I'll select that face. I'll go V snap, and I'll snap out to this corner there. And then I'll do sweeping selection, control click. I've got the front face. Hold V, and then I don't have an angle. I'm not hitting what I wanted. I want to go right to there. I missed it this time, so I'm going to go over here. Now it's the exact same width. Then you go object. Across this intersection. This. Right click, face, select. I just want to keep up with faces, select everything. And you can see the cap wasn't closed either, so we should maybe fix that up. Control D across to here. This. Right click face. So close. Right click face, select control, select control. I'm gonna go F. That's actually pretty close. I should be doing this here. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna press F. Yes, it is close as I thought. They can easily fixed. This becomes like quite ambiguous. We don't know really what's going on here. We can see it also looks like the thickness is a little bit different. Just keep it uniform for now. And I'll hit extrude again. Ideally, I mean, if you're working with Pro Blueprints, we would have NURBS curves. We'd have some sort of construction curves to work from. These would be some sort of spline curve that we could snap to, which would be exact measurements. Let's see, so I want to extrude again. I could have just hit G. Now I'll go right click face, select this one, control click that one. This should still be selected. If I press W, yep. And I'm going to press G to extrude. And we can make our way across the back wall. I'm going to go F to zoom in, back up just a little bit, come out to about here. I hit G again. and I hit G. That looks good. Alright, and then this is reference material. So what I'm going to do now is we'll just assume that this is, I guess we'll assume it's an exterior wall because we're not giving us too much more information. The way I would kind of break this room down, I've been in this room before. You would have probably like a waiting room at one section here, potentially a changing room, so you would go into one section here, there's a waiting room on the outside for the general public. They would come into the room and there would be usually a separate room. It does seem quite accurate, so it wasn't moved through the same system of hallways or whatnot. There's sort of a public access entry point, and then over here, which did not have access to, you'd have sort of an observation area where there'd be a glass window where other people could be kind of working behind here, looking out. And then you would have what I'm looking at here, which I've only seen from the inside here. I didn't get access to this space, but I see like sinks, so it would be like sort of like a cleanup station here, sort of sanitation area before they would do procedures or something. So it kind of, that's my general ideas, I think. And then this back wall could potentially be looking out on a city. This would have to be, what would it be, like almost all the time I've been in them, they've actually all been closed. So what I'm thinking about doing is, we could just, for fun, we could make it so we have a window looking out over some sort of, like a cityscape. And that we could have parallax effect of things sort of shifting back and forth as the user was moving around. And I think that could be good. So let's see what we can do. Alright, so I just want to have the game plans to, like, the movement through the space. That would be my intention. And then let's get it closed off because I want to get this wall dealt with. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to go with some of the reference material that I found, and they have wooden cabinets going across the back. And then I'll have an opening for a nice window sort of central, like right here. And I think like perspective, like of the surgeon, like looking sort of that way. So that's the plan. So to go forward with that, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and make this wall about the same size. We can drop loops in it as we go, and it should be fine. So I'll go over here, hit G again, something like that. Okay, so that's done, and then I'm going to go this way. Control Z, I've only got one hand on it. Control Z. I'm going to go W. I'm going to go right click object. It looks like I'm hitting this background plane. Right click face, select up, control click down. Careful selection, and then I can't do the G. Can I do G? G does work. And then just pull it all the way down. We could start to kind of create the footprint for the window. So I'll go like to about there. I'll hit G, and that'll just give me a space to create the window. Maybe about to here. Nice window. Something like that. I can kind of pull this back and forth. I hit G again, just being careful of the UVs, and then I'm going to go F into the corner, and I'm going to go V. We should be able to V snap up. Now it's being uniform, like almost every other corner is kind of broken like this, but I think this is okay. Actually, no, so I'm going to go V snap back 1 to about here. We can see they don't exactly line up. We can fix that. But then I can just I can merge verts, and then I hit G again, and we come down here and V, and then we'll be able to merge verts on both corners. Yeah, so that makes way more sense. Right click face, let's fix that up. Control click here, W, yep, and I'm going to go V out to the corner. That looks good. So this could all be combined or grouped accordingly. One thing I would do with this would be, so from over here, I have this stuff on layers. So for cinematic type purposes, if this was, a bit of time invested here and you wanted to do some stuff, I could turn the walls on and off and be selective about it. That way we would have greater use of the room. Alright, so here we are. I've got the basic footprint out of this space. What I would do for just the general floor on this right now would be, it would probably do the entire floor of the hospital. So I'd want to have a blueprint of just the overall hospital space, which I'm going to get. We'll marry this to another image or another hospital. I don't think it's going to be the exact same hospital, but I'll get the blueprint. I'll basically use a create polygon tool and draw the entire floor out. And then what I would start to do is you could start to break it up. And I would break it up like along the hallway, and then there'd be different materials from the hallway, something like a checkered material, or some form of linoleum, and then move into the operating room. And each operating room depends on the kind of the budget of the hospital, and that's what you got to think about. Is this a new hospital? Is this an old hospital? Is this dilapidated? Do they have funding? Do they have even just the linoleum on the floor can really set the time period. So you got to think about that. You could just, the tiles or the style can really set the time period for the user. So you want to think about what materials you're using. And sometimes the ones with the timeless quality, like wood floors, they've been wood floors for pretty much ever. But there are different styles of wood floors, but basically a wood floor does have a timeless quality to it. So just keep that in mind. There've also been checkered floors for quite some time too. All right, so let's go forward with this. So something I would be thinking about at this point would be, I would want to have some sort of a ground plane to the overall space. Other things I could do would be, I can start to put in like doors or whatnot. The doors would be easy. I'm not really worried about that for now because it's only going to take a few seconds to set up. Let's actually lift this up. So we're going to actually give the ceiling height. Okay, so here, let's go like this. I'm going to go to object mode, select this one, shift click this one. I don't have to combine them right now. What I'll do is this, I'll come into a side view. So I'm going to go spacebar left click, and then I can go front view, left view, right view should be fine. I'll come over to here like that, and we can see that it's actually below the origin, and we want to let's keep it, this is the ground plane here, not this. So I'm going to go right click face. We'll do them one at a time for now, so I could just do sweeping selection, kind of careful, control click back like that. I'm left with just this, and then I hold X and I snap up like this, and I can repeat this process. I could just do it all at once. And I can go, if I combine on here, combine, everything becomes one. Right click face, sweeping selection across, control click, W, V. So that's at the origin. That looks pretty good. And then just like visual check, everything looks okay. So since it's open, why don't we just go like this here, and then control click back. Let's go just the top. You know what? Why don't we just do this all at once? Right click. I should have object mode. One. I hit a component, so object mode again. There's one. Do sweeping selection across both, and then I'll go combine, everything becomes one. What is this? Okay, so this is the ground plane. Alright, let's go. So let's go here like that again. Got everything, control, click back. Alright, so you gotta go up 10. Alright, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. What is it? It's 10.2. I'm gonna eyeball it. I'll just say that's about 2 inches right there. Alright, so there's our ceiling. The next thing we could do is we could actually construct a ceiling. What I'm going to do is, the idea for this is that the ceiling is not going to be like directly adjacent to the floor above, that it's a drop ceiling and that has depth in between. That a lot of these, the things that will be running on tracks right here. So there's a track system for the all of their equipment, which you could kind of move around. If you actually look at it, the system is completely customizable, so you could really move it around and reconfigure it to whatever purpose you have. So with that being said, let's do it. What I'm thinking is we should actually bring up the reference and kind of think about it for a sec. But yeah, I am going to construct, this will have an independent basic plane moving around it, so I can construct that, and then we can start to lay in some of the rest of the stuff. So let's go. I'll do it now. I gotta think. I'm gonna go from just the corners of the room. Then there'll be like a door jamb basically around it, or there should be. So the detail kind of comes down here, but there should be some sort of door jamb which will kind of finish it out. Going into the next space. I could do, let's say, from like the center, like basically the center of the door is where the new floor will kind of work from. Alright, so let's go. So I'm going to create polygon tool. So we're in modeling, I'm going to go to mesh. It's in mesh tools. Create polygon tool. Spacebar left click. I'm going to go into a top view. Free. I'm sort of trapped in this. It's kind of glitching for a sec. Alright, so over here, what I'll do is this. I'm going to go. Can I do it? So I'm going to go for a V snap. I did. I got a V snap. Across to here. I'll do another V snap. Got it. So as I'm V snapping, I'm holding V before I click, and I'm sort of dragging into the corner. I'm trying to be pretty close to start with, so like, you know, about here. But then I go like that, and I'm just kind of pulling into the corner, not away from. So I'm starting and going that way as I click. Same idea, and it snaps quite well. So I'm going to go V snap again, V snap again, and then I'm looking for the other side of the door. I can just hit delete to undo the last one. And it looks like the door is over here. So I'll go again. That should do it. Like that should basically do it. So I'm going to go enter. Like that, and this is going to be the beginning of our ceiling. It looks like the face is going in the right direction because I was drawing clockwise. If I'd gone counterclockwise, the face would be facing up. But something to keep in mind that this is the back side of the face. It is. Yeah. Alright. From here, now what I could do is, with this selected, I can go shading, and I can go X-ray. So now I can look through to the floor plans below it. And what I could start to do is, I'm going to look at some reference footage real quick. The other thing I said I was going to do was I was going to make the the ground plane end in the middle of the door. I'm going to eyeball it, but I am going to do it. So I'm going to go right click edge. I'm going to select this. I'm going to go down to about here. Again, eyeballing. I'm going to put it right to about there. I can set it up so we can snap and get it exact. I gotta think about it for a second. So I'm gonna go like this. Let's take this one, shift click this one, them all up there. I'm gonna get this one here. Strange, does this have thickness? There, weird, okay. It's not, it's up one, it's right here. Guess I was just kind of watching as I was doing it here so I could kind of switch views. And that's about 50. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. So now we got like the basic ceiling in from here. Let me see if we can. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm looking at a bunch of the different images. Let's take a look. This is what I'm talking about with like one of the track ceilings. This doesn't actually look like it's sunk into the ceiling. I like the idea of it being sunk into the ceiling. It doesn't look like, because I see part of looks like something overhead, and this is dropping below that. In our version, it's going to be sunk into the ceiling. So I want to go for something very much like what we're seeing right here. So let's leave this open as inspiration and across to the outside. It'll have this great kind of airy feeling. Alright, so here we are. We'll say that this is the main track system. If this is what we're looking at, like this would be the kind of the pivot. I'd imagine the track system has to come out to here at least. Let me take a look. Some of this stuff is a kind of question. It looks like the angle this is coming to. This is coming from the outside. Okay, so this is on the outside of this track system right here. Okay, so it's cool, I guess. We go with the interior, and I guess that this would be the track. This is what they have it like, and that does seem sort of proportionate to what we're seeing. So I'm gonna go like this. I don't think insert edge loop tool isn't gonna work because there's not a quad. I am gonna use multi-cut, and I'm gonna eyeball it. So I'm basically gonna go. If I go straight up, it's gonna be a little to the left. So don't worry about the fact that it's on top of the door. This is about to get readjusted in a sec. And then what I'll do is I'll drop one here, and I'm going to use this one to snap this one straight, and then this one here I should be able to get right. I want to get as close as I can. And in all honesty, it might just be faster to do it like this. I'm going to go on the outside, and then I can snap this one back. I'm going to go enter. Doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. I'm going to go W on the keyboard. It's getting close. Right click vertex. I'm looking at the reference. Let's get it real close. I'm gonna put it just, if I put it dead center at here, I have dead center on the other side. Something like this. My mouse surface is a little tricky. You saw I straightened it out. I got it to the corner, and we'll use this for extra geometry for now. So that feels alright. We're saying the track system is going to be about from here to here. There. Control Z. I want it bigger. I want it to be, oh, that's actually pretty big. That feels good, and I like the space around it. I want to have a little bit of room to breathe. I don't want it just right up to the walls. Okay, so we'll go with that, and then I'll do the next side because this time I can even almost go faster. I should be able to just like kind of hit here. It looks like the, I'll go here, sort of like here. Alright, so I'm gonna go there, slide W, I go V snap, I'll snap that to that, there, V snap that to that, there. Let's get in close. And the truth was, I shouldn't, like, this is totally mess this one up. It's like that one there, and then V snap, we should just go with one. I like the top one here, so that's snap. And I go there, and I'll go V snap this one here. Let's see how close I am on this. So this is supposed to be, I like the top one. I'm gonna go with the top one. That means I select the bottom one and I'll V snap there, V snap to here, V snap to there, V snap there, V snap there. Alright, so the general sort of spacing for the track is sort of in place. Let's finish it off. So now I'm going to go into multi-cut. 1, 2, hit enter, G, G, 1, 2, enter. Alright, so from here, now what I'm going to do is something else. So it's becoming cumbersome to work on the space at this point. It's actually like a little bit of a pain. If I get underneath here, you can see, you know, it's going to be awkward. Well, I can move around the room kind of, but I do want to put this the blueprint on a plane because we're going to build our hospital space at some point. So I'm coming down here to channels layers, opened it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go W on the keyboard, sweeping selection. Did I combine everything I did? You told me use the combine button. I also selected the ground plane. Now I can basically break it apart. So I'm going to go to mesh, and I'm going to go to separate. Everything became separate pieces. This is the ground plane. I press 6 on the keyboard. When I separated it, it also broke the connection to the texture map. So I'm going to go into the hyper shade and just middle mouse click, drag, drop it back on. So with this selected, I'm going to go to the channels layers all the way across the one here with the little sphere on top of the polygonal, or the plane, the layer, actually what it is. I click, it adds the selected object to the layer, and now I can turn it off. You can get on and off. Let's label it. Blueprint, and I'll actually make it blue. So you can turn that off, on and off. Let's make this, this is another important one. And we're gonna double click. I color code stuff, so I'm gonna make it white. White is gonna be the color of all the floors. Anything floor related will be white. There might be different divisions of it. Alright, so that feels good. I'm gonna go into here like this. We can turn that on and off. I'm gonna turn this off. Let's go in here, right click face, select it, and I'm gonna go extrude. Now I'm starting to pull the ceiling up. I'm gonna make it big and dramatic. There's a lot of stuff going on up there. You're like, what's going on in the ceiling? A lot. That's what they're gonna say. A lot is going on in the ceiling. Alright, so this looks good. This guy has to be quadded up at some point because I can count 1 and then you see 2. Like, so these are n-gons. This is also an n-gon. But I'll wait a little bit till the end to actually do this stuff. So from here, the next thing is I want the surface, the material to actually change. So it's going to be like a painted sheetrock, and then it's going to go to a plastic here. So it's going to be this plastic runway on both sides. It'll have a curved lip going in, and the mechanics will be way up ahead and kind of sunken, reaching into the room. There'll also be lights going across the top. So that's my plan. I'm going to stop for now, so we'll come back.